fuck is
Yeah, come on, what the fuck? Nah, this is my shit. This, yeah.
You can't taste it, leave them cursed.
What the fuck?
Too deep, I gotta surf. Get about that one. Bitch, you barely float.
Bitch, you barely float. What a check.
I had to boast.
Had to boast.
I had a lot. I ain't never make no toast.
No.
Unless it was some bread up in that toaster. Now I'm on my poster.
Hold up.
Keep the smitty on my
Hold up. Hold up. Bitch.
Coastal. Bitch, we taking this shit fucking loco. Bitch ass hater, you a loco.
I'm sorry, Ton. That is my fucking shit.
Yeah.
Yo, who the fuck am I here with today, bro?
Hey man, it's the young showstopper Fonso Rex, the young stunner in the building.
Come on, twin.
Yes, sir.
Bro, like, you've been going crazy for a minute. I'm not gonna lie. Like, gang, I appreciate you stopping by. First of all, let me lock in. Like, definitely appreciate you stopping by for another LLama Pharmacy interview. Feel me? We got Mr. T-Rex himself, Brody.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, son?
Good to see you, man.
Hell yeah.
Pleasure being here.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So really the purpose of this interview is to kind of just get a feel for you and your mindset, kind of understand how you see the world and kind of how that was shaped. You get me? So just kind of started off, where are you from? Like where are you originally from?
Word. So my parents are Venezuelan. My mom was born in Venezuela. My dad was born in the U.S. because my grandpa was coming here for college. And I was born in Florida. I was born in Tampa.
Tampa smooth.
Was there till I was like 9 months old, and then I went to Venezuela to live with my grandparents.
Damn, kind of similar story.
Yeah. So I stayed over there till I was like 5 years old, and I learned how to speak Spanish before English. Kind of learned how to walk, talk, all that good stuff, and came back to the U.S. Living with my parents. And at the time, my dad was kind of getting into some trouble and stuff. He was pretty bad into drugs and alcohol at the time and getting arrested and stuff. So my mom kind of, to separate me from that, we were living, we moved to Charlotte at that point.
How old were you at this time?
At 5 years old.
At 5, okay.
Yeah, when I came back to the U.S. And we stayed in Charlotte till, I want to say, my 5th grade. And met a couple people. Like, it was cool, but like I don't really keep any connections from back then. Like, now it's crazy that I'm back in Charlotte. A lot of like the homies from back then I don't really keep in contact with. It kind of sucks,
Yeah.
But that's what kind of happens when you're moving around too much growing up and stuff. But yeah, after that, 6th grade, I went back to Venezuela. Stayed out there for a year, and it was just like really different, like seeing how people live in a third world country, and like,
especially when you're at that age to where you can understand it now. Like, it's not like when you was a kid. Like, now a little bit at least what real life is like. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's just it teaches you to mature at a young age and see shit for what it is, and see how lucky some people have it and don't realize it.
Yeah, no, they're completely blind, bro.
It's a real culture shock. Like, a lot of my homies growing up would be like, yo, like, you live in the U.S., like, how is it? It's like a completely different world to them. So it was a cool, like, thing to experience and to learn from that,
How do you feel like that's affected you, though? Like, moving around a lot, always having to get comfortable in new environments.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it teaches you to adapt a lot. It teaches you how to adapt to your surroundings and kind of be a chameleon in a sense. Like, read the situation, read the room, act accordingly. Since a young age, I learned that, and I guess it helps with the music. It helps with my career in a sense. So.
Shit. So around the time, like, when did you start making music? Or when did you start dabbling? Well, actually, rewind. Who was one of your first inspirations that you saw them and you were like, you know what, I can make music too? Like, who was that for you?
Fact. So I want to say, like, early on was like probably 50 Cent.
Really?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Like 50 Cent, Eminem, Lil Wayne. Like, when I was in 5th grade and shit, like in Charlotte, listening to like 97.9 FM. Like,
same,
on the way to
exact.
school, I'd be like, yo, this is sick. Like, hip hop is dope.
That's our hip hop station in North Carolina.
Yeah. Shout out 97.9. And yeah, I fell in love with rap, and I would watch like all the MTV videos and like the VH1 music videos and stuff like that. and I fell in love with it. And I was like, yo, I want to do that. Yeah, so yeah.
I feel it. So when did you get around to recording? Like how did you go about it? Like did you find someone who was able to record? Did you start recording yourself? Like how did you navigate that?
So initially, I want to say like the first time I really like dabbled with music in general was when I like first tried to write a song when I was like 10 years old, and it was In the Club remix by 50 Cent. So I was trying to like make my own shit, you know, kind of put it off to the side, and then I really like stopped, like was focused on soccer. Like I was a soccer player when I was young.
Same exact, yeah. Soccer was my first sport, yeah, before anything.
Word, yeah. And I was in love with that, and you know, music was kind of like to the side. But then once I got a little older, I want to say like in middle school and stuff, I started wanting to like get into it. Started writing more lyrics down and like listening to beats and stuff. And when I wanted to actually go record, I think the first time I ever did it was one of my friends in Miami at the time, Matt. Yeah, Matt and my boy Max. He had like a little snowball mic and like a laptop, and we just set it up and started recording.
Maybe the best sessions, bro.
Yeah, and I fell in love with it. I thought it was super cool, and just kept it going from there.
Hell yeah, nah, it's fire. So, all right, I know you said that it was like one of your friends who kind of helped you start recording yourself, but even then, like, what gave you the confidence to be able to even do that, right? Because a lot of people have what's called like analysis paralysis, right? They'll be like, okay, kind of want to get into music, but I don't even know for real, like, you know, I might not be good at it. Like, you know, obviously right now, like, we know like your music is very good, but when you first started, like, yeah, no problem. But we know that when you first started, obviously, like, you know, like you weren't skilled, you didn't know anything. So how are you able to have confidence to keep going when you weren't as good as you are now?
So when I first started, I was like the typical like lyrical schmirical, you know, rapper. Like I was just very, very like lyricist oriented. And a real boost to confidence early on was like the people around me, like my homies and stuff, just kind of gassing me up. You know,
I feel it. That's how it be.
You know, like because I started when I really like started rapping was when I was living in Miami at the time in high school, and that was before I moved back up to North Carolina. And we were like, it was funny enough, it was the first time I ever smoked weed too.
The first time you recorded?
Yeah, no, first time I recorded was the first time I ever freestyled. Sorry, first time I ever smoked, first time I ever freestyled.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it helped though? Do you feel like the weed helped you freestyle? Because people are really different about that.
Yeah. It might have. Because like I said, it was my first time. We just kind of sat in a circle with the homies, like 10 of us. It was one of my boys' birthdays during like December break off school and stuff. And we just got to smoking and put on a beat, and I like closed my eyes and just started spitting.
Start freestyle,
it just came out of me, man. And like they were like, "Yo, is that a written? Like that's somebody's song?" I'm like, "No, bro, it just came out the top." Yeah. They're like, "Yo, you should do this." And you know, I started putting the pen to the paper and putting stuff down. And like the first couple of songs, like I said, people around me were like, "Yo, this is actually pretty good," you know, like. And I show it to like my family members, and at first they'd be like, "Oh yeah, like it's cool."
Whatever.
But then I have like that one uncle is like, "Yo, no, this is fire."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So like, and early on, like as a kid, like you don't know, but it, you know, it gave me that boost of confidence early on. I feel like, and yeah, once I kept going with it, started getting better, started really studying the game, studying like how this shit works, and you
just take off from there.
Yeah.
What do you feel like your music? Let me restart. What do you want your music to say that words alone can't?
That's deep. Honestly, I want my music to be an outlet. I want my music to be an outlet for myself and for others. You know, music is emotion. Music is passion. A lot of my music, it's cliche enough, but like when I record, it's always based on how I feel. You know, if I'm angry, it's gonna be an angry song. If I'm sad, it's gonna be a sad song. It just is what it is. You got to play off how your heart's feeling at the time and what your mind's telling you, your heart and your mind. But I feel like, I want my music to be able to express my emotions in a way that my words can't when I'm speaking to you right now. You know, like make it hit harder, make it really resonate. You know, have you like think back on what I said, kind of that type of effect.
Nah, for me, bro, like before, like I was familiar with you. Like when I seen you on stage, I was like, damn, like, you know, this guy's lit as fuck. Like, you definitely transfer that energy, you know what I mean, to the crowd. So I think that's fire as fuck because that's what makes people remember. You know, that's what makes people like give a fuck. Like, I'm like, wow, like, what the fuck? Like, do you remember that one guy? Like, yeah, he had that lit ass music, like, and the crowd was jumping like fuck. Like, you know, who was that? Like, you know what I mean? That's literally what conversations people are having. Like,
absolutely.
So, for me personally, that's what drew me to like your sound and your music. You feel me? Just the energy, like, you know, that's what I listen to music for. So it just resonated with me, you know, very deeply. So
I appreciate that, man.
Hell yeah, Brody.
It's like I said, you know, it's my main message is have fun. You know, so like I really want people to have fun when they listen to my stuff, and to kind of hear also like in between the lines and hear what the subliminals I got to say and all that good stuff. You know?
Nah, for sure. So Brody, we also seen that like, when you have a very strong community around you, right? I mean, you have a lot of people that really fuck with you, fuck with what you're doing, and fuck with your movement, right? So to people who don't have that, right? They're starting from ground zero. They don't know anybody. You know, they want to get into the scene. They want to start making music. They want to put themselves out there. What would you say to them?
Yeah. Well, you know, to this day, you know, I got homies that are in that situation, and it's a you know, it's an inner battle, especially if you're kind of like more like reclusive, like you don't, you know, you're not the best socially, like you might have social anxiety or you might overthink too much, you know, which I do.
I do that too,
and it's you know, it really hinders you in the progression of like having to network, you know, and putting your face out there and stuff. But honestly, what I can say is like just be yourself, be confident in yourself, you know. Like if you know you have the talent and you know that what you're creating means something to you, keep doing it. You know, no matter if 1 or 40 million people are listening to you, just keep doing it. Like I said, you know, when I started, it was very, you know, I didn't have that community, you know, and it took a lot of like that inner battle of, you know, getting past not being the best socially, you know, or just listening more, you know, and yeah.
Just trying to figure it out. Yeah, nah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
I try to encourage people, just, you know, just go outside, bro.
Yeah.
Like, because you never know too. You know what I mean? Like, you never know like who you're gonna like. You know, sometimes you have a conversation with somebody like random, right? But like, you know, it might turn into something like, you know, like you can't just be out here just walking around dismissing everybody. Like, what the fuck?
Show face, man. That's best thing is you got to show face. You got to support, especially like within, you know, locally, support each other and show face. I feel like that's the quickest way to build your own community. Yeah,
nah, for sure, bro. And whatever you give out in this world, energy, whatever the fuck, it's gonna come right back the same way.
Be genuine,
man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just that's fire. I do fuck with that. All right. What is one weakness that you're working on right now?
I'd say one weakness, specifically, you know, in my
like
artistry, creatively, would just be following through on exactly what I want to make as an artist. Like I've been talking to my girlfriend a lot recently. Shout out Bree.
Shout out Bree.
We, you know, I'm Hispanic. I love Spanish music. I've always like listened to reggaeton, vallenato, merengue, salsa, all that, and I've always wanted to incorporate it incorporate it into my music. But it's just like at the moment right now, like the community I'm building, the fan base I have, it's like really surrounded around like that trap metal kind of rage, you know, hard shit. Which, you know, I'm just trying to find like how to keep giving the people what they want, you know, because it's fun. I love doing it. I do love that side of my artistry as well, and I love that expression of it. But I you know, that's what I'm kind of dealing with is wanting to dive into other things and slowly incorporating it and kind of not making it such a hard transition, you know.
No, I understand that for sure.
Still building on what I'm doing right now, you know. Not saying that I'm just going to completely stop doing what the stuff I've been doing, but yeah, that's been a thing that's been in my head recently.
I think for sure, like you say, you just got to slowly, you know, adapt, and it's natural, bro. Like every artist goes through evolutions, right? So of course, like, you know, it's going to take some time to figure out what the next evolution of Fonso Rex is, like. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Maybe in the future, who knows?
Yeah, that's the fun part though. This is the fun part because we get to experiment. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we get to try shit. Like there's no like limits on that. You get me? Like,
absolutely.
So I'm fucking with that heavy as fuck. What's something that you had to unlearn? Something that you believed used to be true, but you know, later found out that it wasn't true. It could be about the industry, about your music in general. Just what's something that you actively had to like unlearn?
I'd say maybe honestly like being so gullible to the fact of like putting like supporting so many people around you first before putting yourself
Facts.
ahead of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I feel it.
You're putting too much time around other people and like trying to uplift them and not focusing on your own inner growth, personal growth.
Facts.
And that'll, you know, ultimately stump you from like ever
From
growing.
going up,
Yeah, of course. That's definitely something I had to unlearn and realize like it's cool to support your homies, you know, but you also got to worry about yourself.
Yeah, nobody's gonna,
you know, so
nobody's gonna really, how can I say this? Nobody is really gonna put the effort and energy into your brand like you are. Absolutely. Right? So just remembering that, you know, just being like, okay, well, I essentially always have to be on go, right? Like that's what all these entrepreneurs and these shit say. Be like, oh, you work 24 hours, but it is rewarding though. I think it is rewarding. Let me see. What's your favorite song that you've ever recorded? Yeah, the song that you hear, you like, yeah, this is my shit. Like I killed this beat. I don't care.
I want to say most recently, honestly, probably Sick of the Fuck Shit. Just because I spit on that shit. Like, I was really spitting.
It's on Apple?
I haven't spit. Yeah, it should be.
Let me see.
But I haven't spit like that in a while, so I feel like that's a good song that I really was rapping for.
You said Sick of the Fuck Shit?
Yeah.
She. Yeah. Come on. Let's play a little bit. Let's see.
Face me, sweaty pussy cannot phase me. Red Mountain rhythm got them jumping off the pavement. Same though, they already dead, you can save them. Acting like a pest, I'ma come and fumigate them. Gassed out, smelling like a body in the basement. Caged it, they won't let me in, I feel abrasive. Why the fuck they hate me? Maybe they can't tame them. I'm a hellhound full of mange and some ravies. Off the leash, I'm attacking them.
That shit hard. That shit hard as fuck.
I want to say all like a classic old Fonso song though is definitely probably Pedals. That's like the OG fans really fuck with that one early on. Pedals for sure.
Oh yeah.
I push the pedal. Yeah. It's on SoundCloud though. That's like I think it's only on SoundCloud. I don't think that was on all platforms. But that's like, you know, real early Fonso, probably like I want to say 18 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My fault. I'm trying to find a couple more. My fault. Cause I was gonna ask you, how like you balance what they like versus what you like. We kind of answered that earlier, so I don't want to ask that again. Who's the first person to believe in you, like actually all the way to like make you feel, you know, good? Like wow, like somebody really like believes in my music, bro. Like who gave you that feeling? Who's the first person? Let me say that.
I want to say like early, like for real, probably my boy Chris, man. Shout out to Chris.
Yeah, shout out Chris.
Yeah. Shout out Bowser. That's my homie.
Oh yeah, shout out Bowser. Yeah, Bowser's cool as fuck. Yeah, I follow him.
He's my high school homie, best friend. You know.
Oh yeah, best friend. Okay, cool.
Yeah. We went to high school together in Concord when I moved up here from Miami, and you know I was a new kid. Like nobody really fucked with me and shit. And bro kind of brought me into like the little stoner crew. You know, we was gassing up, and I was you know every time I'd be like recording new stuff, I'd show him, and he was like really like fucking with it. You know,
yeah.
and
That's
it really
love,
did motivate
bro.
me, man. Yeah, honestly,
that's fucking love, bro. Like that shit is so cool, man. Well, what else? Like, what's actually cap? I want to ask you two more questions. I'll cut this part out. So, where do you see yourself in your brand in the next 5 years? What's Fonso Rex gonna look like?
I mean, it's honestly open because we don't know, you know, like what exactly I'll end up doing. But you know, a lot bigger, more professional, more, you know, I want to be everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I want to be a big face in the industry, hopefully soon.
Inshallah.
So you know, big things, man. I want to, like I said, the whole goal, honestly, is to have my family be okay. You know, my mother is fairly old. She's very, you know, she has stage 4 cancer.
Damn, man, I'm sorry about that, Brody.
Yeah, I mean, people deserve to know if they're a Fonso Rex supporter.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, man, I mean, as long as they're straight, you know, that's what I want to make sure of, and I want to make sure I give back to the community as well, give back to my home country, you know, give back to everybody. So, yeah, that's hopefully in 5 years, that's what you'll see me doing is giving back.
It's giving back. Hell yeah, we're going to have a Fonso Rex Day out there. Of course, Brody. So, in the near future, say like the next, like, you know, 6 months, 12 months, what can we expect?
Well, I will be doing a mini tour from, I want to say August till maybe October, just like in between dates.
Yeah, that's hard as fuck. How many shows?
It'll be, I gotta double check, but I want to say probably around like 6 or so. A lot of them is gonna be with Dirty Butt.
Shout out Dirty Butt.
Shout out Dirty Butt. Shout out Two Stroke and Young Berg. Young Berg's an artist. He has his own band as well. Two Stroke from, I don't remember. I think Greensboro. I want to say, or Gastonia. I think they're from Gastonia. Sorry if I'm saying the wrong place there, but yeah, the homie's bringing me out. I'm also gonna be doing a special guest performance for Belisco. In
Shout out
Charlotte.
Belize. Yeah, she's cool as fuck. Actually, like met her a couple years ago.
Yeah, shout out Bryce, man. Shout out Belisco. And then I'm gonna do one with Wi-Fi's funeral as well in Charlotte, August. So yeah, a lot of cool shows coming up. A lot of music videos dropping off my album KTA.
Yes, sir.
The Nailed video is coming very soon. It's on the way. Yeah, and I'll be working on a new project hopefully as well. So that will also be coming within the next months to the next year.
Oh, send me all the throwaways, all that extra shit.
For sure, man. I'll definitely be dropping in between, you know, giving a couple singles and stuff like that, some videos. So expect some cool stuff soon.
Hell yeah. No, I know those live shows are going to be crazy as fuck. I'm going to make sure we add some.
Yeah, I'm definitely
I'm
trying to up it, man. I'm trying to do some crazy shit. Like, I see the Two Stroke boys are doing like WWE shit. Yeah. And I've been wanting to do shit like that in my set. So like we're gonna do some crazy shit.
You know, just give somebody.
Going through tables. You know, we doing all type of shit. We climbing ladders. It's gonna get real, bro. We trying to. I'm telling you.
Well, I gotta tell somebody, hey, bro, I need $20 to jump off that thing real quick. Yeah.
Why not?
Like, come on, bro. I fuck with that though. Yeah, any means necessary. Up that shit. Well, yeah, Brody. Appreciate you stopping by, gang. For real, like I really do. And is there any like final thoughts? Anything else you want to leave with before we sign off?
Shit, man. Fuck ICE.
Yeah, ICE is a bitch.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine, bro.
Fuck Donald Trump.
Hey, Trump.
He fucking up everything with that stupid ass bill, with everything he's doing.
Wow.
Real shit. But hey, man, on some other shit, shout out The Bridge.
Yes, sir.
Shout out Adu. Shout out Lucky Llama. Shout out Charlotte. You know, shout out Javo. Shout out Bowser. Shout out all the homies. Peace and love to everybody, and I appreciate everybody's support.
Yeah. We got this bitch.